And here in Melbourne for this summer, so I got nothing to complain about. Sun's out, guns out. Nick's got a win today. Like, life is good.
I love it.
You know what? If that game had started a little bit later, we would have done a game prediction and I probably would have picked the Clippers and I would have been wrong. So
Don't lie to yourself. You would have picked the Knicks.
That's it. I'm done. I refuse to pick them anymore. Says
He
Nick.
says every week.
Yeah, says Nick for the 122nd time this season. BK, we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to get stuck into it straight away. And we're going to start with Grayson Allen because we got some breaking news this morning that he has been suspended for one game. We've got a tweet. We're going to show the highlight here just in case anyone hasn't seen it. Dirty play from Grayson Allen on this Alex Caruso drive to the hoop. Look at that. That is, you don't hit a guy when he's, in midair, and he fully dragged him down there. Caruso's now out for 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured wrist because of that fall. Allen he was assessed a flagrant 2, obviously ejected. He's been suspended for one game, BK. One game. Like, looking at that, I just, I can't put my head around like how the NBA looked at that and said, you know what, that's only worth a one-game suspension.
Well, that's just kind of how it goes with a flagrant 2 foul. It normally is a one-game suspension, which will serve on Thursday, but it's tough because Grayson Allen obviously has that reputation. And then, when we look at the time that Caruso is going to be out, I mean, people were calling for Grayson to be out for as long as Caruso was sidelined, which is, now looking like it's going to be a minimum of 6 weeks. But yeah, it's tough. He definitely had an opportunity to pull out of that play when Caruso was kind of already going sideways, and he didn't. So the optics for Grayson Allen aren't great here.
And I love you mentioned the people that are calling for him to be out as long as, and I'm like, fam, that's not how it works.
The pitchforks are out on Twitter.
They are out. They asked Caruso about it, post game, and he said, "Dude, just grabbed me out of the air. It's kind of bullshit. I don't know what else you can do about it." And BK, you and I were talking last week, literally like 2 days, I think, before this game, that the Bulls were maybe in a little bit of trouble because Zach LaVine's out. Lonzo Ball's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Now, Zach LaVine could be back as early as next week. So now no Caruso, BK. We said it was going to be the Alex Caruso era in Chicago. Guess it's all up to Kobe White now, isn't it?
Yes, sir. I mean, we thought DeMar DeRozan was an MVP candidate before this. He's going to have to keep playing like that to keep the Bulls alive because their defense is really going to take a hit with Lonzo and Caruso both out for an extended period of time. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Bulls kind of manage this next stretch of games here because the chasing pack in the Eastern Conference isn't going to let up.
I asked you this last week. I'm going to ask you again. Can they hold on, BK? Because, I look at this now and it's going to be tough for them because, look, all right, they're getting Zach LaVine back, but now you're losing a couple other key guys. And, like you said, that Eastern Conference is getting tighter and tighter. Can they hold on?
It's going to be hard. I don't know if the number 1 seed is going to be theirs, for much longer. You got the Bucks that are starting to sort of come into their own. The Nets are still hanging on there without KD, Kyrie Irving back in the lineup for the road games. So the Heat is the team that I'm probably the most worried about. They look like they're about to make a nice little run as well.
BK, I love it. You read my mind. That's a great little segue into our next topic because I do want to talk about the Miami Heat. You've been high on the Miami Heat all season. You've been talking about them from the very first episode. You've been a huge fan, especially of their defense. BK, they lost last Saturday to Atlanta, right? Now, they've had a lot of injuries this season. They've had a lot of COVID, absences as well. Their core players, which is basically Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, and PJ Tucker, have only managed to appear in a total of 14 games together this season. In games without Adebayo, the Heat are 17-8, 12-6 in games without Butler. Now, when you have guys of that caliber in and out so often like they have, they've only played 14 games, that core together, and yet they've managed to somehow creep into, I believe, the second spot in the East now? Like, how have they done it, BK, and how incredible has this been?
Yeah, first of all, shout out to Eric Spoelstra. He, remains one of the most underrated coaches in the league. We say it every season.
Yeah.
But if you're one of the most underrated coaches in the league every season, I think it means you're one of the best coaches in the league. But he's coaching this team at an extremely high level, and the depth is really the strength of this Miami Heat team. And whilst you mentioned they've had a lot of these guys out, it's kind of been a good opportunity for them to get a look at some of these other guys in extended minutes with extended responsibilities. I'm talking guys like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Caleb Martin's been great for them as well. So the fact that they've been able to get so much out of these guys while their star players have been out, that's going to come back and help once the postseason arrives, because these guys are getting some really nice extended minutes through the first half of the season.
BK, when you look at it now as we head into the second half of the season, right, now they're going to start getting healthy, fingers crossed, that these guys remain healthy. Are they poised to make like a deep play? I mean, I shouldn't even be asking you. I know what your answer is going to be, but are they poised to make a nice little run here in the playoffs once they get these guys back healthy? Now they know what their bench guys are capable of as well. Like you mentioned, those players, they're primed, aren't they?
They're looking very, very good. They run 8, 9, 10 deep. They got guys that can come in and contribute. We saw how many games during this stretch where it was Kyle Lowry and just the bench unit, and they were successful. And I really like the way this Heat team is built. I like the players that they have coming off the bench, and the big three in Lowry, Adebayo, and Jimmy Butler. That's as good as any big three.
And look, it speaks to the, people talk about this Heat culture and all that. They've been talking about it for years. And look, it's a thing, man, because like that franchise, I've actually been saying this, and I say it as a bitter Knicks fan as well. The Miami Heat are the Eastern Conference's best run and most organized franchise. And the proof is in the pudding. They've won championships. They're constantly up there in the playoff, contention as well. Like they're just the Heat culture is a real thing. They're just so well run. Shout out to Pat Riley. Shout out to Eric Spoelstra. They've done a fantastic job. BK.
It's San Antonio by the beach.
You know what? But maybe. Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Spurs anyway. So
not the Spurs right now.
Nah, even back when they were winning championships, I wasn't a big fan. It's like, who wants to watch the Spurs play anyway? Let's move on to Damian Lillard. BK. He had surgery to repair an abdominal injury. He had a press conference yesterday. Did you watch this thing? It was a little bit. I saw some highlights there, and he wasn't really. He didn't really set a definitive date for a return. He just basically said his return depends on Portland's position, I guess, in the NBA standings. There's been some reports that suggest that Lillard's open to maybe sitting out the season if the Blazers are not in a position to make the playoffs, which they won't be, or if they want to sort of like maybe tank the rest of the season and try and get a lottery pick or something like that. What did you make of all that, BK? And what, again, this is another sort of topic that we've had throughout this season, hasn't it? What the hell are the Blazers doing? And I just feel like we could ask this question every week.
Shut it down. I mean, if it's already going to be 6 to 8 weeks, the Blazers aren't going to do anything in the postseason. If they can get a nice draft pick, that'll help in the summer for potential moves they might try and make to build around Lillard, and it'll help in potential moves if they do move on from Damian Lillard, because even if he does come back, I think they'd just be trying to cling to a playing seed and then what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I said, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And then it's like, if you're already out 6 to 8 weeks or whatever it is, and we're getting into, late March, like what is the point of all that? So yeah.
Let Anthony Simons run the show.
That's it. It's the Anthony Simons show from now on out. But yeah, like let him, just sit out the season, because the Blazers aren't playing for anything at the moment. If you can get a high draft pick, yeah, cool. But I don't think Dame Lillard's going to be there next season.
Nah, I don't think so. I think this could be the end of the Damian Lillard era in Portland.
Yeah, I definitely think we've seen the last of Dame Lillard. BK, we've got to touch on this because it did happen a couple of days ago, but I want to talk about it. Steph Curry game winner the other day against the Houston Rockets. His 8th game winner of his career. I think we've got a quick highlight here. Watching Steph, I kind of feel like he would have had more than 8 game winners. This was actually, I believe, his first buzzer beater game winner, though, which again is another incredible sort of little tidbit to find out. But out of his 8 game winners over his career, 3 of them have come over the Mavs. So this is the first one over the Rockets. BK, I want to ask you though, which has been your favorite Steph Curry game winner?
I don't think there's anything better than the bang in Oklahoma City.
The double bang.
It was 2016.
It was the double bang.
The double bang. It's the best bang that we've seen. But it kind of just speaks to the fact that most of Steph Curry's prime, he spent the fourth quarter on the bench because the Warriors were just smacking teams. Like there's a reason he's never had to take that many game-winning shots. Facts.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that OKC the double, it's just so iconic because it did spawn that double bang from Mike Breen that's gone on social media, and you hear it everywhere now. So yeah, I'm rocking with the double bang in OKC. BK, we're going to move on to buying or selling. We've got a nice little topic today, I feel like. The Dallas Mavericks. Now, they had a nice little winning streak. I believe they lost last week, and then I think they won again over the weekend. So, BK, my question to you is, are the Dallas Mavericks legit this season? Are you buying or selling it?
You know what? I got to put my hand up. I was off the Dallas Mavericks earlier in the season. I thought this was going to be a disaster for them. Their offense looked terrible, but I didn't see them turning things around like this on the defensive end. So shout out to Jason Kidd. They're guarding the pick and roll at a much higher level. They've got guys like Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith, even Porzingis playing defense. So I'm buying this little renaissance from the Mavs. They've got the 10th easiest schedule the rest of the way home. And let's face it, the Western Conference is kind of weird this season. So I wouldn't be surprised if they could maybe sneak their way, up maybe into the top 4 if they keep this up. But I'm good with the Dallas Mavericks. I like what I'm seeing so far. How about you? You believing what you're seeing?
Look, they've had some good wins in that winning streak. I can't lie. I think they beat the Grizz, they beat the Bulls, they beat the Warriors, they beat the Nuggets, and those games weren't even close. They actually smacked them. So they've beaten some quality teams.
And they held them under 100 points in a lot of those games.
They did. It was like an 85, in that sort of 85 to 90 range as well. They did have one loss to the Knicks, though. I just got to. I'm just.
You had to get that in there.
I'm just saying, right? Facts are facts. BK, but I'm not buying it, and I'll tell you why I'm not buying it. Because I said this, and I'm going to keep saying these games in the regular season do not matter. They matter to the extent of maybe you can get a higher seeding, obviously, but if you're a good enough team, you can win a championship from 5th and 6th. All right, these games, a 10-game winning streak in early January or whatever, does not matter when we get around to April or May. What I want to see from the Dallas Mavericks is a playoff run. And look, I need to see Luka and Porzingis and like you mentioned, Finney-Smith. All these guys have done it, and they've done it well. And shout out to Josh Green. He's been playing very well as well. I need to see it in the playoffs, BK. I'm not buying any winning streaks during the regular season. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about a playoff run. Just a playoff series win.
Just a playoff series win. Yeah. I mean, like I said, these games in January and February, they don't matter. If you go on an 8-game winning streak, no one's going to remember it if you get bundled out of the first round of the playoffs. So I'm not buying this at all. I'm selling it until the Mavericks show me they're legit when it counts. Then this is my contention. All right, BK, we're going to take a look at some games before we get out of here. We've got 11 games. There was 11 games on the slate for today. Shout out to the New York Knicks once again for getting that win against the Clippers at home. But we're going to start off with the Lakers and the Heat today here. The Miami Heat favorites, as they should be, $1.59. Lakers, $2.45. The line is at -3.5. Total at 214, even right there. That one's live on SBS Viceland. Miami 15-5 at home. They lost to Atlanta on Saturday. Lakers beat Orlando, but I mean, who can't beat Orlando these days? Surprisingly, Westbrook had a pretty solid game against the Magic. 18 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. Lakers are going to need more of that moving forward, BK. I'm rocking with the Heat at home.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just spent 5 minutes celebrating the Heat, so I can't go back on them now.
Facts. All right, that one's a pretty easy one there for us. Grizzlies and the Mavericks. We just spoke about the Mavericks as well. $1.59 favorites here. The Grizzlies, $2.47. The line is at -4. Total is at 219. Live on NBA League Pass. So the Mavs have won 10 of their last 12. This is the 3 versus 5 battle in the Western Conference. Mavs are 5 games back, though, of the Grizzlies. Doncic will play, hurt his neck in a fall on Thursday, but he's been cleared to play against the Grizz. Memphis, well on track for a 55-win season. BK, 8-2 in their last 10. Steven Adams is day-to-day, so I'm not sure if he's playing or not. Who do you like today?
You know what? I'm a roll with the Dallas Mavericks in this one. I got to keep that same energy.
Okay, all right. You think it's going to be a close one or not?
I think so. I think this will be a fun game. We get to see two of the best young players in the league going at it. But I just like what I'm seeing from this Dallas defense.
You know what? I'm going to go. I agree with you, and I'm only going purely because the Mavs are at home. So I think. Yeah, I'm rocking with you. I'm going the Mavs in a close one at home. Next game up on the schedule here, we've got the Nets and the Timberwolves. Timberwolves, $1.70 favorites. Brooklyn Nets, $2.24. Lines at -3. Total at 236 live on NBA League Pass. BK, the Wolves are tied with the Clippers for that 8th seed in the West, 22 and 23. Brooklyn has won 2 in a row, back on top of the Eastern Conference. Kyrie's playing this game as it's outside of New York. Nets have got a great record away from the Barclays Center. They're 17-5 on the road. No KD for Brooklyn. Pat Beverly hurt his ankle last week, but he's actually likely to play today. Who are you going with, BK?
Hey, if Kyrie's in, I'm in. Yeah. The money's not with them, but I'm gonna rock with the Nets.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised. I thought the money would have been with the Brooklyn Nets on this one here. I'm going with Brooklyn too. I just think still no KD, but I still think they've got enough to beat the Timberwolves at home. Last game we're going to take a look at. This should be actually a fun one here. Utah Jazz, Golden State Warriors. Warriors favorites here, $1.47. Jazz, $2.80. Lines at -5. Total, 220.5 live on League Pass as well. Warriors have cooled off a little bit, BK. They're just 4-6 in their last 10. Still second in the Western Conference. No Draymond Green, no Andre Iguodala for the Warriors. The Jazz, who have also cooled off a little bit, they're 4-6 in their last 10, but they've had a lot of COVID, a lot of injuries. Beat the Pistons on Saturday. Warriors 20-4 at home, and for that reason alone, I'm going with the Golden State Warriors. But this should be a good game. This should be a fun game to watch.
I think so. This will be a fun one, but I like the Warriors at home in this one. The Jazz, they've been good, but they haven't been great. I'm not that inspired, and I'm not sure what Donovan Mitchell's status is either for this one. So
yeah, I forgot to mention he's actually out. He's been ruled out. He's in the concussion protocol. So that's going to be a big loss for the.
There you have it.
And Rudy Gobert is also questionable. So yeah, easy money on the Warriors today. There, BK. My brother, it's always a pleasure chatting hoops with you. We're going to see you again on Friday morning. Have a great week, my man. Enjoy the NBA action.
Always, my man. Appreciate it.
We'll see you on Friday. This has been another episode of the Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV. As always, brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday morning with a special guest.